Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
I'm Dan.
I'm Spencer.
And I'm Katie from the Board Game Mechanics.
Yay! This is the Board Game Rundown, and today we have a very special guest. We're very excited. She's super brave to come on and pick on Dan with us.
Yeah, I'm brave.
Yeah.
Brave.
Well, that's not the brave part. The brave part's just being here in general.
That's
the
true.
picking on Dan is like, okay, well, I get to do that.
That's true.
It's a bonus.
Yeah.
So today, obviously, we have a very special guest, but we are going to do our normal thing, right? We're going to talk about games we played. We're going to talk about news, crowdfunding, and then a topic, which is very apropos since Katie's here.
Yeah, but first, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell down below so make sure you get all of our notifications.
That's right, because we are doing a giveaway once we get to 500 subscribers. Nice. We're going to give away a copy of Edge of Darkness from AEG. That is a Kickstarter exclusive game. We're going to send it to you free, gratis. All you have to do is comment and be a subscriber, and we will randomly pick somebody out of the comment section. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that how it goes?
Yeah, we have
Okay.
super scientific things that let us pick people.
Yeah,
on
it's
the
kind of what
comment.
Bob just did.
And I mean, 1 in 500 chance, that's better than the lottery. Go for
Yeah.
it.
Well, actually,
Way
you have an even better than 1 in 500 chance because 500 people have not commented on that video, I don't think.
Oh.
Yeah.
So,
So 1
Not all
in
of us
7
are
chance.
guys.
Yeah, go for it.
Those are real good odds.
right, never tell me the odds.
Oh,
Hey,
shoot.
there it is.
All right, so we want to do games we played first, right?
I mean, do we want to? Do we
Sure.
want to do the normal thing we do every single week? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I'm
It's
going to go
called
with that.
a format.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
format. It's
yeah.
format. So, Katie, you want to go first? Tell us
Yeah.
some of the fun games you
Sure.
guys have been playing.
I actually only have one.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
Easy.
There would be more, but I started teaching on a regular game night, so I only caught the last game.
Okay.
But we played Tidal Blades,
Oh,
nice.
right on. Hey.
Yeah, what'd you think?
which was really fun. The name at first, I'm like, okay, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking Ninjago minis. I don't know what it is, but it's just worker placement, contract fulfillment. The art is super cute.
Yeah, it's very
Um,
colorful.
Did you have
very
the
bright.
expansion with it? Angler's Cove?
Yes, we did have the
Okay.
expansion, which just adds. I don't see why it wasn't in the base, but
Yeah.
Sure.
it was really fun. It's just a little bit of push your luck with the negative tokens that you draw to get like a bigger bonus at the time, which was nice because other people were really into that and drew a lot of negative points. And then I drew the one token that makes all those negative points.
Like
Actually,
Extra negative.
Yeah.
Quick
Awesome.
question. Did you
Nice.
have the deluxe version or did you have the regular version?
The regular.
I was going to
Okay.
say, there's
'Cause
no
I-
way you guys played with minis. So
Oh, this game with minis?
The
We don't need those.
standees.
Well,
Okay.
it wasn't.
We can get rid of the standees. It was just meeples.
It might not have been Jason's copy.
Too
So
much-
they might have had.
too much
They might
art
have
on
had
the
the minis.
standees, guys. This is ridiculous.
They might have had the
Yeah.
minis.
Yeah. It wasn't our copy. It was our new hotness buddies.
Oh,
so.
right on.
Okay.
Yeah, well, so there was a chance that he had the deluxe
Sure.
edition.
Yeah.
So what did you think about, like, especially in the first move, how tight it can be when you only got 2 actions? What'd you think of that?
Yes, I actually really like that because, for me, I like multiple paths to victory. So I'm like, okay, yes, I want to work on these contracts that I have, but I also want to build up my different dials. So
Right.
what do I think is going to help me first and going after that to do kind of a long-term
Right, and then even
strategy.
within
And
that-
I looked a little bit at what my character, like their target kind of components and tried to follow those a little bit.
So did you win?
but- I did.
Right on. All right, Bobby, what did you play?
Well, I played a few games.
You usually do.
Yeah, I do. So Ben came over on Friday night,
Yeah.
and we started up Tainted Grail.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah, so it's very cool. I think we played it wrong for the first couple of rounds. 'Cause I got into it like, man, like, this seems like we're kind of like got a lot going on, but we haven't really moved towards the goal at all. Then I was like, oh, we weren't supposed to be able to move there yet.
Oh, right.
So
Yeah.
we're gonna go back and start it back over again once I've read through the book. 'Cause I read it once, but like when you don't have everything in front of you, it's very abstract. It doesn't mean anything to
Yeah.
you. So now that I've played through it a little bit, now I'll go back and reread the book.
Did you
and then-
forget the menhirs can only do 1 area around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's not, because we found another one, but it wasn't activated, but that didn't mean, so that means we couldn't really go out any further. I was like, man, we should be taking damage for being so far away from that active one. I was like, oh wait, these aren't even supposed to be on the board yet.
Yeah.
So
I
we're
did
gonna
that
go back.
I
and
did the first time I tried to play solo.
Yeah.
I made that same
same mistake. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
So-
It's all
But
right.
it's still neat. Like, the art is really cool.
Yeah,
Like,
and you spoiled
minis.
nothing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's barely any
That's
of the
the
story.
basic.
Yep.
If you don't know that, you
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know.
Yep. So that lasted a long time. So
Yeah.
then after that was over, last night, Sarah's friend came over and her boyfriend. We had a taco night. And we played a bunch of games. So we played Quacks. I introduced them to Quacks.
Yay, Quacks.
That was a good
Yay.
one. We played Half Truth because I like trivia games. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, well, let's play this trivia game. Then they really got a kick out of that. We played Codenames,
Nice.
right? So
good.
that's more of a team, and
Sure.
you're giving clues and whatnot. And then we wrapped it up with just a few rounds of just one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice
that
and
is
easy.
a game night,
Right?
there,
Yeah, so it was
man.
mostly like kind of party type games,
That's
very
all right.
very light because they're
We
not
like
heavy
party
gamers.
games.
But man, they all had a great
But
time.
if you had
I
a good
said.
time and you got to play Quacks,
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I don't get to play
Right.
games with Sarah very often because she's usually doing something else.
Sure.
So, but she was like super into it, and they were having a great time.
that's
so,
awesome.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Yep. Yeah.
Mission accomplished. Spencer, what did you play?
Well, I had a couple of guys over for game night, and we played Tidal Blades.
Hey.
And I won.
Nice.
By the way, we cover Tidal Blades here.
Okay.
Yes. I also don't have the deluxe version.
I thought you did.
No. You guys
No,
got the
we
deluxe
both
version,
did.
and I was
Oh.
like really jealous over the squishy things.
Yeah,
Yes.
the squishy
And
bits.
then you mentioned how the deluxe version actually hinders it.
I think it hinders it in
And-
almost
and
every way.
Yeah, there's a
And-
few things that it makes it inconvenient.
Honestly, I'm not missing the deluxe
fine.
version. It's
Hey.
totally fine without it.
No, you
Yeah.
played it and had a good time?
I really want to try it again. This was, once again, it was their first time.
Mm-hmm.
So I've played it 3 times, and each time I've played it, it's been the starter game.
Oh,
Oh,
sure.
Sure.
I really want to try it with all the extra stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think that might actually loosen up how tight it is a little bit and give
Sure.
you more options. I really want to try that. So
Yeah.
hopefully I'll convince some of them who didn't really like how tight it was to give it one more chance.
Oh, sure. But play with more stuff now that they understand how
you know,
to
they
play.
understand how to play.
I find that kind of a curse sometimes. Like when you're the one with the game and you're just teaching all these new people. You play it's like the Mechs versus Minions thing. You
I
play that
still
intro
haven't-
one
I
like
still
so
haven't
many
made it
times.
past like
Yeah.
the fourth scenario.
It's
of
like,
Mechs
oh, I
versus
played this game
Minions
like
'cause I'm
20 times, but it's always the
teaching
same one because I'm teaching people every time.
Exactly.
But,
Yes,
yeah.
and I still love that game.
Yeah, it's still
but
fun.
I
but
need to
we need
play
to play
more.
through it.
Yeah.
Then we played Race for the Galaxy with 2 of the Arc 1 expansions.
Spencer
Oh.
is like diehard Race for
Oh,
the
God, I
Galaxy,
love that
Roll
game.
for the Galaxy.
I've
And Katie loves
heard.
space.
Now
Katie loves space. This is right up her alley.
Oh,
She
whatever.
loves
That's
space
just
so
a,
much.
that's just a slapped-on theme anyway.
So I left out the 3rd expansion just because when 2 people are learning how to play the game, it's a little much to throw all 3 expansions in at them. But no, it was fun. I love the game still. And then I played with my daughter, Smallworld.
Oh, right on. Good.
Yeah.
And we played with the cards, like Tails and something, where every round you introduce a new event.
Oh,
And it
okay.
changes everything that's going on the board. Like on one of them, forests on the next round are going to be worth double points. And next
Oh,
one, everyone gets to remove one of their tokens because they die or
Oh,
things
sure.
like that. Yeah.
How did Addie like it?
She loved it.
Okay, good.
She has this. I mentioned this last time we played. On the 2-player board, there are 2 spots with dragons on them, and she is obsessed with dragons.
So she just wants those.
as long as she has the dragon spots in her eyes, she's won.
Right.
Yeah. You'll never
Right
beat
on.
her then.
Shared
Yeah.
victory.
You will never beat
Add
her.
that to the back of the rule book. If she has both dragons and you win in any other way, it's a shared victory.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's right. That's right. All right, Dan, what you got? What you got?
I got a couple things. Catherine had a friend from out of town over and someone else, and so we knocked out just a couple trivia games. They wanted deduction games. They wanted to knock
okay.
out. So we first I don't remember the order, but we played Cryptid. One of them was a huge fan of Clue. And they were talking about Clue, and I was like, well, I'll show you Cryptid. You can see the similarities and differences there with Cryptid. So I will say it was probably the worst game of Cryptid we've ever played. But it was it was just so hard to find the thing.
Okay.
It never takes that long.
Elusive.
And like we were like it got like the entire board was covered, and we were just sitting there like, where is this guy? And it turned out that a couple people, because it was a teaching game for almost all of them,
it
so a
said
couple
given
people
wrong
might have
information.
given some wrong information, and that made it last a little longer.
That makes it much more difficult.
Yeah.
Right. That's real tricky.
But so I still love Cryptid though. I wish it hadn't lasted so long because I feel like that made it a bit of a negative experience for them. But
Sure.
I'm just like, trust me, guys,
It's
it's
not always like this.
normal.
Yeah.
It's,
Right.
it flows much better.
This never
than
happens, I swear.
You should usually call it after 4
Dan's
hours.
line.
right. Nope, we're gonna find this man. And then we played a couple what do you call them? Escape room games.
Oh,
so
right.
we finished Star Wars Unlock.
Nice.
Finally, we're done
Okay.
with that. Incredible. And I handed it off to Tim so he can
Oh, nice.
finally.
I'm very excited.
He
Very
can
cool.
finally play Star Wars Unlock and see what Bob and I have been raving about.
It's Star
Yeah.
Wars. I'm in.
That was
I
on
mean,
the short
I'm
list
in.
for the games last night. So
Yeah.
I almost.
Yeah.
made it, but yeah.
I'm
excited for
I do
you.
think the third one was the hardest.
Okay.
Man, we were having some tough times with that one. But overall, obviously great. Can't really talk about it without spoiling. So
right.
it was cool.
Star Wars themed spoilers.
Yeah, jeez. Now
Oh.
don't use playing it now, Tim.
Yeah, you unlock something.
Yeah.
There's a tauntaun on the box. Now it's
Yeah.
ruined.
And
Who's Luke's father?
Well, yeah.
oh god.
It's you, Spencer.
And then we played an exit, and I honestly can't remember the name of it right now, but it has like a graveyard on the front. Like the
Okay.
box is a graveyard. I can't remember which one it is.
So you're gonna make Jeff work.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
It's this one.
Oh, it's just my face.
Yeah.
And again, can't really talk about it too much without spoiling it. I will say, boy, was that so. The Star Wars Unlock, the third one was the hardest one of the Star Wars Unlocks. I say, for these people not having played many exit rooms or exit games, boy, was this a step up in difficulty.
Really?
Like we were so stumped on this exit. I've played like 3 or 4 exits at this point, and this one was by far
They
the
do
hardest.
tell you the complexity.
Right,
on
but
there.
they're
Yeah.
always like almost every one says 3 out of 5. And it's like, then why do you have a 5 set scale if every single one is
I don't
3
know.
out of
I've
5?
seen some that are
I
like
think look at that one. It's
4s
gonna
and
be a 5 on that
Yeah,
one.
right.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
5s. Dummy.
But yeah, so can't talk about too much without spoiling it. But it was like it got to the point to where, and there were like 5 of us playing, which is already over the player count for Exit 2.
Oh,
So
sure.
there wasn't enough for us all to do. But they wanted to play the escape room, so it got to the point where I was just kind of sitting there like holding the clues, and like I was just like reading them and like as they were like trying to solve something. And then I'd be like, "Hey guys, did you look at card F yet? Just wondering." And then like I would just go in there like just giving them little hints like
There's
that,
no
you know?
worse Dan than Smug Dan.
No, it wasn't smug. It was
Are you
like
sure? Like all Dans are pretty bad.
no, it wasn't like a smug like response. I'm saying like I would just like give them a very
Nudge.
simplified version of what
Yeah.
the clue's trying to get them
Right.
to do,
Sure.
right? But it was incredible though. Like
Yeah.
the puzzle solving, like the only one I played that I didn't like it was called like the Haunted Castle or something. I really
played
didn't
that one,
like
yeah.
that one.
That was
But
okay.
Secret Lab was awesome. I remember loving that one. This one was pretty cool. Just like I said, extremely difficult. But and then those are the 3 that I played without Tim. So
Yeah.
Tim can cover the rest.
So Dan and I got together, knocked out a few games last night. I got at least 2 off my shelf of shame.
yeah.
Ooh.
So we played Marvel Champions finally.
Oh man, how's that one?
It
Living
was
card
so
game.
good.
Oh.
It was so good. I was so happy. I got to be Spider-Man. He was
Right.
Captain America.
I was Captain America.
We're going against Rhino. Dan's like, oh, well, this Rhino's dumb, I guess. But it's in the introductory scenario, so I guess we'll just play this one. And we were getting our butts handed to us left and right. I'm like, who's dumb?
Yeah.
Like, you got to stop insulting these guys. before
Right?
we-
It's
before we
just
go
Paul
after this.
Giamatti. you know?
Yeah. Yeah, well, in the bad version. But anyways, so it's a living card game. It's really fun. Now, Captain America was an add-on character that I had bought blindly because I love Captain America. I was
Right.
like, okay, I want him to just have him in the game before we even played. But then when we played, I was glad we had him because he's a really neat character.
Yeah.
Everything, the theme is really
The
good.
theme is incredible, and a couple of my negatives while we were playing, as we got to the second half of the game, kind of became not negatives. Like I was worried the game might play really long. The
Right.
first half of the game took a really long time.
kind
as
of building up.
Yeah, and then the second half of the game just snowballs, and it's like I was just like, okay, this game doesn't overstay its welcome. Like I was worried, right? But the theme thing. So I was Captain America, and just to sum up a really quick thing about, like, we literally were just laughing at how awesome the theme was. So I got to start with my shield out on the field, of course, right? And I had a card in my deck called Shield Throw, and it was discard X cards and do 4 damage to X people, basically, right? So I could discard 4 people, and then the shield goes ding, 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 and bounce off everyone, but then I have to take my shield from the table back into my hand because it.
So now his
returns
shield's
to my
not ready.
hand.
Nice.
And then so I have to take the time to play my
it
shield
again.
again to be
Right.
able to. But like
Ding, 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 ding.
when I read that card, I was like, that is one of the most thematic things I've ever seen, where it deals a bunch of damage, but it has to return to your hand.
And we were just so excited,
loved
right?
it.
Like just the idea of like, okay, like who's going to take out these guys? Who's going
Right.
to do this and who's going to do
Right.
that? And it just played really well. And it was really
I
a
was
lot of fun.
very happy.
It was a lot of
with
fun.
The, the main thing was the theme for me. Like, yeah, the storytelling element is cool. the fact that we didn't even get into the deck building and stuff that's in it is cool. You know, you can just play with the starter decks, or it says maybe experiment, right,
Yeah.
and build your own decks and stuff.
So you can really customize stuff,
Wow.
which gives it a step up over Sentinels, I think.
Right.
of the
Basically,
multiverse.
everyone has like 15 cards that you have to have. Like, this is Captain America.
Right.
And then you mix basic cards
Right.
and specialty cards, whatever they're called, into your deck. And you make a
Okay.
20 whatever card deck or 30 card deck or whatever. And that's what you play with.
pretty solid.
And I just Marvel Champions. I
was a lot of
loved
fun.
it. I cannot wait to
Yeah.
play
Yeah,
again.
we're
Making
gonna
me
be
wish
playing
I was
more.
able to make it.
I know.
Well, then we played Monster Slaughter, which is a really fun game. You pick like a group of monsters, basically you're three of them, a mom, a dad, and a kid version. And then you're either like, I was Maniacs,
Right.
Dan
He was like
was
Jason,
Aliens. Yeah,
or-
so I
or
was like
like
Jason, and
Chucky.
like Chucky was the kid.
I was just Alien, so I was like Mars Attacks, looking like
Yeah. Yeah, but there's like mummies, golems, there's werewolves, vampires, and basically there's like a house that you're outside of, and it's a 3D house.
Okay.
And so you bust down the door, you pull the door off, so now there's like a crack in the wall so that you can go in through there. And then each room has its own deck. So you spend your action searching the room deck. So you're drawing cards off of there, trying to find the people hiding in the cabin. So when their card comes up, you put their character down there. And the really fun thing for me in this game is that before it all starts, there's 5 people that are in this house. You got 1 token for each of them. You're secretly going to pick which order they're going to die in. So you get points for getting
Getting
it
it in the
right.
right order.
So
Okay.
you
And
So
then,
morbid.
And then at that point, you also pick your Laurie Strode or whatever, right? You pick your like favorite victim, and
Yeah.
you get
Okay.
bonus points if you kill
if
that
you're the
person.
one that kills that
Nice.
person.
Yeah.
That's
So
funny.
the crazy thing is while you are like, so there was a person that I needed to kill before. Well, I needed to live so I could kill this other person. And Dan was getting ready to kill them. So I took an action called the scare action. So you chase them out of the room. And if they run into a room where there's nobody, they hide back in that deck. And so they get shuffled back into the deck. And so you just don't
Which
know.
is,
funny.
and the decks are getting smaller as the game's going on because
Sure.
you're going through the rooms destroying things and stuff.
Yeah,
so there's a
nothing
lot
to hide behind.
There's less
Yeah.
for them to
and
hide
then,
behind.
and then the other thing you're drawing these cards that are weapons for the survivors. So if Dan goes to attack somebody, normally if nobody does anything, you just see how many successes the person gets or whatever. But you can play cards that will give you dice for an opposed roll. So you can keep people alive.
Right.
Right. So
Like, I don't want that
Chucky-
person to die yet, so I'm going to give them
Yeah,
some
Chucky's
weapons
in
so
the
they
next room as like Frankenstein's about to scare him, and he like tosses him a saw, and he's like, "Use this."
But we had a really good time
Yeah.
just kind of busting through.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
I think it's gonna be more fun with more players.
I agree, and there's a couple like modular expansion stuff you can
Yeah.
kind of add in right that might make it.
The
yeah,
tool shed
It
and-
definitely, I think, in a 1v1 is going to feel way different than even just a 3-player game because in a
Yeah.
1v1 there's so much of the competitiveness. Because
Back and forth.
so Tim and me, obviously, the odds of us having the people in the same order is very low. So I'm always going to be trying to stop Tim, right? And it's just a 1v1 to where in a 3-player game even. So now Tim's trying to kill someone, and both of us, the odds are that that's not going to be the same order. So now we can kind of team up and be like, okay, well, clearly we can't let that happen, right?
Right.
And like, so there's like this negotiation that instantly is a new mechanic
because
in the game,
it's almost
you
like
know?
Munchkin. Anybody can throw in cards to add
against it.
dice
Right.
to go against
Okay.
the.
Yeah,
that
so
sounds cool.
I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to playing it. I didn't love it, but I see crazy potential.
Potential.
Here. Yeah. For
Well, and it's
more
hard to
stuff.
judge by 1v1, but I wanted to
Right.
get the rules down so
Yeah,
that we could
definitely.
then bring it in and teach
Yeah,
it.
it's
and play
hard to
faster.
teach when you got like 4 people waiting on you with the rule book, and they're
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
"Hey, you didn't know, Tim." You know,
Yeah.
you're like, "Okay, let me tell you something wrong real quick."
Yeah. You're welcome.
Thanks, Tim.
And
Oh,
then-
by the way, we've been playing around the entire time.
Yeah.
and then we ended the night playing Quarriors,
Yep.
and I hadn't ever played it before. I played a little bit of Dice
You played
Masters,
some Dice Masters.
So
I
I kind
talked
of-
about Quarriors a lot in
but
the past.
it's dice drafting. You're buying dice, you're building your bag, then you're drawing out of your bag, you're rolling, you're spending them to either get more dice or to summon your critters. They've got to basically just survive the round being out. So anytime somebody brings out new monsters, they attack around, to the other monsters.
Right. They'll attack Bob until they've done as much damage to Bob as they can, and then they'll attack Spencer. With
They
full
just
damage
go around.
and everything.
They just
yeah.
go around. Anyways, I had a blast. I loved it. I can't wait to play more.
I was really glad because Quarriors is another one of those kind of throwaway, dumb. Like literally, I was setting up the game and I was kind of going over the basic rules with him. And I said, just so you know, this game is in no way balanced. Right. Just have fun,
Okay.
and that's what it was. We were just laughing and rolling dice and being like, "How is he still alive?"
Yeah, we
and like
played it-
that's what it is.
We played it like 30 minutes, had a good time.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Sweet.
So that's my games. That's all our games.
Yeah, it's a lot of games.
So we're good? Ready
Yeah.
for news?
Ready
Yeah,
for
get
news?
News. Okay, so I got some news.
Tim's
Katie, you got any
got
news?
some
Katie, you got some?
I do, but
Let's see.
I can wait my turn.
No. I want to hear your news so I don't step on your toes in case I got some.
Well, one of the pieces of news I have, I am certain that you're going to talk about.
That's fine. We could talk about
Is
it
it
together.
Fantasy Flight?
Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Bring it. Let's go right into it.
Okay, so we'll start with that one. Fantasy Flight, they are basically reissuing Battlestar Galactica, but with Cthulhu theme.
Oh boy, right here.
But with
Unfathomable.
Cthulhu.
Nice.
Bob, it's like your game, bro. It's hidden identity cultists.
Yeah.
Done like Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
Deep one.
It looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so good. 3 to 6 players. The price point's a little high. It's gonna be $80. But you got miniatures for the monsters, standees for the heroes. But then, yes, there's gonna be like hidden roles on the ship because some people are trying to sink the ship into the depths and sacrifice them to the great mighty Cthulhu, where others, are trying to keep everything going. And so at the end of every round, just like Battlestar Galactica, you're drawing a card, which is going to present other obstacles and hardships.
Crises and,
So you got to keep food and morale high, and keep the deep ones at bay.
Stay sleeping in real. Yeah, we don't need you up here.
Yeah.
I'm super excited, and I totally understand the price point here because if you take what Battlestar Galactica is and modernize it, I think that price point makes perfect sense. All those miniatures that are in there, and they're obviously going to be higher quality now than they were with Battlestar Galactica, which served their purpose fine.
Sure.
But they're clearly going to be higher quality, and Cthulhu takes a lot more miniature form-wise than a ship that's shaped like a Y, and that's it.
Right.
A
Sure.
one-color gray ship that's shaped like a Y. So I totally get the price point. I'm very
Well,
excited.
Fantasy Flight always has really good components, whether
Right.
that matters to you or not, Jason. They do have really good components. So, yeah, I get the price point. But I am excited. But, yes.
It'll be interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, that was my news because obviously Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah,
That's what I was going to talk about.
Yeah.
No, my news.
So thanks.
Is a little different.
You're welcome. A little softball.
My news is like real world news.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
that's
Way
probably-
to be
I mean,
above
well,
it.
Oh, no,
How
this
you
is-
doing up there?
Yeah, no, this is not good news.
Yeah, no.
I am the harbinger of bad tidings. You may have been familiar with how Kickstarter works, where you spend an amount of money, and then beforehand they're like, it's going to cost you this much in shipping, and then when shipping actually comes by, they're like, oh, we need you to pay us more. That's becoming a problem because in the last about 2 weeks, shipping has gone up.
Skyrocketing.
A year ago, shipping was a third the price it is right now.
Yes.
Yep.
And this is a kind of perfect storm of different things that have caused this. Every single shipping lane is having problems, and they're all for different reasons. It's insane. And they're not expecting it to get any better anytime soon. So
It could really bury a lot of Kickstarter
that's
projects.
Yes.
my biggest concern.
Have a hard
I've
time
already
getting them
seen
over here.
Kickstarters come back and say, hey,
Sorry.
we need you to pay 20 or 30 extra bucks
Yeah.
just to get the game.
Yeah, I've heard like there's too many containers here, and there's not enough
Yes.
over there, and then between and the canal that got blocked
The canal
up,
that got blocked
that's,
off, the
pushed
trade
everything.
war that
Yep.
slowed down trade in one direction.
Yeah, that's
There's-
why all the containers are over here and not being sent back and
it's
forth.
just so many things
Yeah.
piled on top of each other.
And they're
Yeah.
they're worried that by next year it's going to be doubled again.
Oh.
Yeah.
So-
It's unfortunate.
If you're buying Kickstarters now, be prepared to pay extra.
Or
for
what you
shipping.
do is you back one that is going to take like 3 years to fill. So then the
Hopefully by
market-
then it kind of settles back down before then. Yeah. Yeah.
And don't be surprised if the Kickstarter you backed a year ago is going to come back and ask you to pay a little more.
Yeah.
Because
Instead
you
of 20
can't-
bucks shipping, it might be 30 or 40.
Yeah, you can't blame them. No one saw this coming.
Yeah.
So that's my bit of bad news.
Yeah, well,
I had that too.
thanks,
on
Thanks,
mine.
Debbie Donner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I did have one other little bit of news I want to mention again. I mentioned it last week about
Yeah?
the Mosaic. So
Oh.
the Kickstarter has officially ended.
Uh-huh.
So be aware.
That's your friend Glenn Drover, right?
Yes, my friend Glenn Drover and
Good guy.
Games, good guy. And but don't be trying to buy games from just randos.
Oh, right.
Make sure you're pre-ordering it from your local game store or from them directly because they're saying there are people who are trying to violate the retailer pledge and get copies in that aren't legit. So and they won't be getting them.
Or
Right.
Daniel from Boardgame Rundown at gmail.com. He's a very trustworthy.
Yes, you can buy as many as you want from him.
Yeah, you can send him
Other than
all your
that-
money.
Yeah.
We do
And
not
then he'll send you
endorse-
my copy of the
we do
game.
not endorse that
That
statement.
Gmail does not exist.
No.
I'm very nervous now. I'm very
Yeah.
nervous.
Yeah.
Katie, do you have any other news before I go into some more?
The only other one I had was I don't know how many people are into Critical Role.
Very
But
popular.
I know there's some
Yep.
some
very
D&D
popular.
players. They're just ended their second campaign and they're doing a summer like 8-shot called Exandria Unlimited. So Matt is actually handing over the GM spot to somebody else.
What?
And he's going to play.
Nice.
okay.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, which I think will be really great. So we've got a couple new people, like 2 new voice actors. One girl, she voices Eleanor of Avalor, or Elaine of Avalor on Disney Channel.
Oh, I know that name. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
I've got
You're
children.
like, what? I know that.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. She is doing it. And then I think Matt's playing, and then like Liam and I can't remember her name, but she was the one on Blind Spot. Ashley.
Oh, okay.
So I think there's 5 of them, but it's going to be like an 8-shot over the summer. And so someone else is taking over the world Matt created, which I think is going to be a really interesting experiment.
Yeah,
So
that's got to be
very-
hard to do too, right?
Yeah.
Like just let it go and let
Matt
somebody else.
backseat
Yes.
DMing.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yes,
think we
he's right
Actually,
there.
that character wouldn't do that.
if I told the stories I wanted to tell and I'm done with the world and someone else wants to keep it going,
Right,
I'm like,
that's
you know
a
what?
stress relief. Yeah, right there.
Have
Yeah.
at
Yeah,
it.
I'd like to
going.
play. Sure.
It doesn't have
So-
to be canon, so it's
Yeah,
fine.
exactly. Hey, do as bad as you wish.
That's
and then
right.
when I come back, I'll be
Well,
like,
there's
and you
none
all
of
wake
that
up.
Yeah, right. That's the thing. You wake up from that bad dream, and it wasn't real, any of it.
All right, so Dan, if you were wearing a stupid hat, I would tell you to hang on to it.
Oh,
Hold on to your stupid hat.
if only I
Because-
wasn't wearing this headset, maybe I would.
Dune House Secrets, they've announced is
Yeah.
going to debut at Essen on October 15th.
Mhm.
And then the following week, you're going to be able to get your grimy, sandy paws on a copy of it.
I didn't
Are
hear
they
what you
Sandy
said.
because it was Dune?
What'd you say?
Yeah, sandy
Okay.
because it's
House Secrets. Oh, the House Secrets.
House
game.
Secrets. Yeah,
Okay.
so that
Yeah.
one's the one that's going to actually, like, the campaigns are going to kind of lead into each other
Yeah.
and
Ooh.
decisions early in the
It's
game.
the detective one, right?
Yeah,
That's the one based
Portal
on the
games.
like the
Portal
yeah
games,
Portal.
yeah.
So that's the detective one. Yeah.
So that should be really cool. And
Yeah.
then Richard Garfield fan. So if anybody likes Bunny Kingdom or Magic the Gathering,
Yeah. Or
Not the-
Keyforge then, right?
this Keyforge,
Half truth?
Half Truth. Yeah, this isn't like any of those.
Oh, okay.
You're welcome. It's just a designer.
Oh.
Absolutely useless.
He just wanted to
information.
drop a name.
He's got a new game coming out called The Hunger. So you guys are all like vampires. It looks very cartoony and
Okay.
light. And it kind of looks
I
like
did see
Clank.
this.
So it's like a deck optimization push your luck game. So you're trying, your vampires, you woke up, you're trying to get the eternal rose that blooms. So you're trying to get this flower that's way deep in this labyrinth and then make it all the way back out to your castle before time runs out, for daylight.
Yeah.
Bing. But like it's kind of interesting because there's things you can do, like there's humans in your deck,
Okay.
and then you can eat them
Nice.
to give you like extra stuff.
Of course.
But then they're out of your deck.
Okay.
You know, and then other things like the more treasures you get kind of potentially slow you down as you're trying to kind of wind your way through this map. So I say Clank because in Clank, right, you go deep down in the dungeon, grab the best artifact you can,
Right.
and like run back
Get
out
out,
to the
yeah,
top.
before the
And
dragon
you can
wakes
only
up.
score if you're above ground, right?
Right.
So this is kind of a similar thing. So there's
Cool.
like easy mode and expert mode. So the easy mode is like you can, if you're like to the woods or the mountains, you can survive. You get burned, but you can still survive.
Okay.
You know, where hard mode is like, no,
Gotta
get back to your
home.
castle.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know. It could be interesting. It looks like
he has
it
a good
is-
track record.
He does. He
Yeah.
does. Looks like it is going to. You can pre-order it now, and it'll come out in September.
Okay.
So that's my news. That's all my news. That's
Okay.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
Brent. Cool. Crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding.
Funding.
Katie, you got any you're excited about?
I have a couple that I actually picked based on things I thought you guys or some of you would be excited about.
Interesting.
Which not dice is coming out?
Yeah.
I looked for one, but I did find one that I thought Spencer would like, but it's not about not dice. Sorry. I tried. The first one I picked out because I thought Bob would like it. It's about pirates.
Oh, okay. I'm interested.
Cutthroat Cove, Pieces of 8.
Ooh.
And it's like a quick card game
Mhm.
and it can play, I think, up to even 8 players. So it's kind of
A
a
bigger
bigger,
game.
can be a party game or play less. And you get an event card and a treasure card, and then all the treasure stays out in the front. Then you take turns drawing event cards, and you're looting from other people, from the treasure deck, you're discarding treasure. And then at the end of the round, whoever has 8 pieces of treasure or less, because a greedy pirate is going to be a dead pirate.
Oh.
So 8 pieces, whoever has the most gold or treasures of 8 or less, they're
Okay.
the winner. Anyone above 8 is the loser. So it's like a quick,
Like a Price
fun
is Right
little-
kind of thing, right?
Right.
Closest without going
Closest
over.
without going over.
yeah. So it's like a balance of, okay, I do want to discard some treasure, but I want to get some too. And I like that kind of balance. So there's like 14 days left by the time this episode drops. And it's
that.
only $12.
Nice.
Oh,
That's
nice.
nice
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That's
cheap.
cheap.
I saw some. It looked interesting with the. I think you keep all your treasure face down in front of you. So as you're stealing each other's treasure, you don't know how much you're stealing from them. You're just stealing from them. You know. So you might look and be like, "Oh, 6. That's way too much." Oh
crap, I want that many. Yeah, put that- put some of that back.
Yeah, that looked interesting.
And there's like cursed items and stuff. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
That is right up Bob's alley because it
Yeah.
is pirates.
It is pirates.
My second one is actually something I thought Spencer would like, and it's called Book of Villany
Ooh.
by Gold Seal Games. And so you're like a B-list villain. You can't quite make it to supervillain. So instead of trying to keep working as supervillain, you decide to write a memoir about being a villain.
Okay.
Nice.
So,
Those who can't teach, right? Kind
Yeah.
of thing, right? Like, so not actually one, so I'm just going to write a book about it.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's worker placement. You're going around and you're avoiding heroes, but you have to commit some kind of dastardly deeds to get these cards that have your chapters for your book on them. And not only do you get the cards, but then you have to arrange them in a chronological order that makes sense because the publishers doesn't want a book that doesn't make sense.
Right.
Nice.
It's not just doing the deeds and avoiding the good guys, but also then arranging them. So I thought that was like a really fun,
Yeah.
ridiculous theme.
Yeah, I
That's
like
a
it.
pretty neat idea.
That gives me like very Dr. Horrible vibes.
Oh, yeah,
You know, trying to get into the evil league of evil and you can't do it.
and if you
so-
play games with us, we might end up in songs. So
Yeah.
just like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's 14 days also on that one, and it's $30 for that.
Right on.
Wow, nice.
Those are good
That
ones.
doesn't
break the
And
price point
I
at
did
all.
not even see either of those.
Yeah, same.
No, me either.
So,
Yeah.
well, we're gonna.
Because I'm
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. You're the secret, like you're the secret sauce in the board game mechanics.
That's
Right.
called poison.
Oh,
No.
So, you know.
only if you drink it, Dan.
It's okay. I've spent the last 12 years building up immunity.
Right.
that's
to
right.
cocaine powder,
That's
so-
right.
I knew that was
The
coming.
last 12 months
Yeah.
building up immunity
Yeah, to dance.
to all this.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple of games that we've covered on our show on Kickstarter. So we'll just kind of bust through some of those for
Sure.
ours, right?
Because they're
Um,
alive.
Yeah, so they're live. So traps! Exclamation point. That's the nice bright green cartoony one. We've done a preview of it, and you're basically you're like a person and a critter, and you've got to get them both all the way around the map to the end, and you're laying traps on spaces. Is it roll and move, or you play cards to move? I forget.
Cards.
Play cards to move. And do different things, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of a little take that, but it's pretty lighthearted and kind of fun, very swingy.
Okay.
Like when we played, I think I got all the way almost to the end and then got bounced all the way to the beginning, just like Jeff's favorite game, Candyland.
Shoots and ladders.
But Traps is on Kickstarter right now,
You
and I
deserved it.
believe it's like $40 to get yourself a copy of it, and there's like 2 weeks left, so probably a week and a half when this drops.
Yeah,
Jack,
if you're looking for a family game.
yeah, it's
that's
a
what
good.
it
It's a
is.
good, fun, kind of family friendly. It's very family weight game, but very lighthearted. Jackpot Payout,
Jackpot Payout.
which Dan didn't like, but I really liked from Puzzling Pixel Games. That's the deck builder. Katie, you got to play this, didn't you?
Jason played it without me.
Oh,
I told you we should
I
have got Jason.
saw it on the table. I'm like, oh, that looks fun. And then he's like, I'm sending it to Tim. I said, okay.
no! No, wait. No, I sent it to Jason. He must send it to somebody else.
Oh, no, yeah. Who did he send it to?
Uh
Do I still have it? Wait,
Uh-oh.
look around the room.
oh. There she's looking.
No,
You better look. Can we see it on the screen?
we definitely don't
It's
have
not
it.
in the Yido box, that's for sure. Anyway, so Jackpot Payout, you are basically, it's like a deck builder, but it's like slot machine. So you're playing cards, trying to match the symbols and to hit the jackpot to pay out.
Yeah.
Hey,
Right.
it's almost like the name makes sense.
It's almost like the name
Almost.
makes sense. Anyways, I had a good time with it. My family and some of my friends and like in-laws and stuff, we tried it out and they had a good time. And that is $37 on Kickstarter, and I believe also like 2 weeks. And Dan, I'm gonna let you do the last one.
Yay! A while ago, we covered a game with the designer called Skeptics.
Yes, John Uziak.
Uziak, yeah. And it's a classic Ghost Adventures game. You go into there's multiple maps. I can't remember the exact map we
we
played.
went in like an asylum or a hospital.
Right. No, it was a hospital because he said like his
there was the board.
wife used to work in a hospital, so she literally made the board as realistic.
Like,
as
they wouldn't have that
possible.
next to that. Yeah, I
Or
remember you guys
something.
talking
Yeah, that
about
was cool. But yeah, so again, we covered it here. I can't remember if I snapped already, and we have a full playthrough of it, and it has what's the Arkham game that he said he
Arkham
kind of
Horror?
borrowed?
Elder Sign.
Elder Sign. He says he kind of borrowed that kind of dice mechanic from Elder Sign, but obviously changed it a little bit to match his game better. And yeah, you're going around taking actions, and you're trying to kind of spawn and exercise the ghost,
Yes.
basically, right?
You're trying to get the ghost to appear where you, when
Want
you
it
can
to.
do stuff.
something about it.
And not like other times randomly when he's just going to wreak havoc.
And you're going around collecting clues too,
Yes.
which make it easier
deal
to
with.
purify.
And it ramps
the
up
building.
in difficulty like the closer you get to the end of the game. And because there's a couple different ghosts. We just played against the one, but they played different enough that it's almost like a different game. Like you can't just use the same strategy versus every ghost because
Yep.
they work differently.
Yeah, a lot of it is dice skill checks.
Yeah.
Using different stuff like that. It has plenty of time left. No need to even mention that. And it looks like it's going to fun this time.
Yes.
We're very happy because last time when we covered it, it did not succeed. I honestly think it was just not enough people saw it.
Right.
Because I think this theme and the look that it has will sell. And I don't remember the price point right now. I'm on the wrong
Skeptics
page.
is $50.
Thank you. But $50, I think it's worth it. We had a really good time with it. This is just a theme that interests me too, though.
Yeah.
Again, you mentioned I didn't like Jackpot Payout. A big part of that is I see a game
don't
that's
like
like
games that are
casino themed or gambling themed. I'm instantly turned off.
Sure.
I don't care at all.
Because you don't like Lords
about
of
that.
Vegas.
Right. I don't like Lords of Vegas. I don't
Which
like
is
a lot of things
amazing.
that are like that. I have morals, and
You just don't like games that are fun.
Yeah.
sure, exactly.
Nobody stand near Dan
Anti-fun.
when we leave
But
because
no,
he's going to get struck by lightning.
You're right. But I bring that up just because that's one of the things with this game that instantly turned me on. I was
Right.
like, oh, interesting, ghost hunting kind of thing. I like that. I play the Phasmophobia video game that's really popular right now. I like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't care about it in real life, but like when it comes to like a game, I'm like, that's a cool theme.
Right, right.
So, yeah.
But the ghost was a gambler.
Well, then it'd be even better because you're like, I'm exercising.
Exercise the demon.
Yeah, he's an outer demon, but also he has some inner demons.
Oh, he does. Yeah, you got to work through that.
Just going to say, if it could all just end right now.
Well, it will because that's Skeptics.
Yeah.
So check it out if you want. Check out our video again if you want to see what it kind of looks like. We play it on Tabletop Simulator with John.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. So,
Actually, no, it wasn't Tabletop. It was Tabletopia for that
was
one. I believe,
Tabletopia,
but same thing.
still.
And I'm not going to be here next week, and I
Oh,
might
yeah.
not be here for a while. Just things coming up.
Suspended.
Yep.
We'll
taking
go
over.
with that. So I just wanted to mention one that I was going to mention last week, but didn't have time. It's called Fall of the Mountain King.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
this looks cool.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. It's the
Burnt Island
prequel
games.
to In the Hall of the Mountain King.
Oh.
Great song, by the way.
I know. I was gonna say that, dude.
Yep.
Love that song.
It's by Burnt Island Games. It's a 1 to 5 player game where you're orcs who are preparing to try to fend off a gnome invasion, but of course you're going to fail. And you can't attack each other. You just have to be better than the other people. You go around trying to collect these orcish champions, and there are like 28 of them.
Okay.
So it's got a lot of replayability and asymmetric abilities. But what I really like about this one is you level up using this little puzzle that you're putting out. And your actions, you're covering parts of the puzzle. So how you put the puzzle together will determine how you can make your actions.
Oh, so Katie's out because she doesn't do well
Abstract.
with the tactile, with the
Oh,
like
I'm like,
patchwork, right?
Why can't it go here? Oh, it's not even the same shape.
Can if
Great.
you hit it hard enough.
Don't play Isle of Cats because you'll just be crushing cats the whole time.
I should play then.
So it's $95 for the game. If you want to have both games, it's $190, and you have till June 24th.
Okay. Yeah,
So check it out.
there's a lot of buzz around that one, and
Yeah,
I'm
it
sure
looks
it's like
pretty cool.
way funded, right?
Yes, I'm pretty
Yeah.
certain it's very funded.
Yeah. It's got a lot of good press around it. So, guys, now we're going to get into our topic. And we asked Katie here for a specific reason because we wanted to talk about why we hate Dan so much. And she's the expert.
And she's the expert, so yeah.
And I have some things I can throw in as well.
Yeah.
He's a
why
self-loathing.
I hate Dan.
Self-loathing. No, in all seriousness, right? A unrepresented voice, not enough, right? There's more now.
Underrepresented.
Yes, thank you. There's
Not to
more now than
mansplain it
there
to you.
used to be. Right. But we are lacking in the female perspective, right?
Yeah.
On in the hobby, in the industry, and everything. And Katie's been around it a lot. She's seen a lot. She's pretty deep in it, right? So I thought it would be really good to have somebody that's got some strong opinions and some good ideas and thoughts, and to come on and just kind of talk to us, mansplain to us, and
man.
Whoop, man. Yeah.
But yeah, so like, what are some of the things you see? What's better? What's worse? What do you got for us?
Well, I think some of it, like I was thinking about how I came into the hobby, because when I was young, I was around games a lot. I played all kinds of games, every junior version of every game.
Oh, sure.
And it was just natural. My sister and I played it a lot. And then I read started reading the Dragonlance series.
Oh,
books.
so good.
So good.
Oh, so good.
Stern Brightblade is my favorite.
Really?
That's my boy.
Stern?
I love
Oh.
Stern.
Tasselhoff.
I know you like Tasselhoff perfect. You look at the kind of D&D characters we play.
Yeah, and that's kind of lines up.
Yeah.
Ooh, what's
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I like in elementary school are playing and acting out that on the playground. And so the middle school, I'm like, oh, they're talking to me about playing D&D. And so I'm like, okay. Well, then I was one of the only girls, and suddenly my character died on our first encounter just because.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. It was over. And I was like,
Wow.
what the heck? Like, I know a lot about this. I understand the lore. I can roll a 20-sided die. Like, this is not hard. Like, I never had thought about that before, because I've always played games. I played cards a lot.
Right.
A lot of euchre. I mean Midwest kid.
Yeah,
euchre,
I was gonna say, you grew up in the Midwest.
Hand and foot,
Mm-hmm.
rummy, all that stuff. So I learned about strategy and reading other people. Like, all of that is like skills that you learn playing that kind of game. And then as I got older, I'm like, wow, it's not as welcoming as I thought it was, because I didn't really know any better.
Right.
And it's not terrible. Like, this is what I was talking to Jason about. I said, I see it now where a lot of people will say, like, oh, anytime you disagree with someone who's a female or who's a person of color, then it's some kind of microaggression. And I'm like, I don't want it to be
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also definitely a place where I haven't felt as welcome in gaming. I actually have been to Nova
Mm-hmm.
out in like Virginia, which is a primarily wargaming and some like CCG, TCG kind of convention.
Okay.
Helping
Virginia?
with some coverage for Star Wars Destiny.
Oh, okay.
And I went there a couple times, and I just to walk into one of the halls where they had all of the landscapes set up for these different games, everyone turned and looked at me. I was the only female in the
What
room.
is she doing?
And then
here?
immediately turned back around. And I was like, what? And not to be unfair, but most Magic players are also kind of the worst
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
about
Wait,
not
I know
welcoming women.
Oh, is it the We Hate Bob Hour?
Oh, no.
Yeah, what's going on here? They flipped the script.
I'll get in with some of this.
And I think some of that is because I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's like I'm capable of learning. I do understand strategy. Now, just because I don't like all the time playing games where we just attack the other person without story or without anything else behind it, I think that that's some of it. And normally it's like with our gaming group, we are equal, 50-50 men and women.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure.
And actually,
nice.
occasionally we have a few more women than men. And I don't know if that's because I invite my friends and that's kind of the balance of the group, but I don't see it until I go other places.
Right.
Sure.
Where then it becomes a little more evident. When I went to Origins a couple years ago, and we did a sit down where you could learn the colonists. And I'm like, okay, this is like ugly game. This is right up our alley.
Yeah.
Right.
So I sit down
Ugly,
and
pushing
it's a
Very
group of all-
tan. Yeah.
Right, ugly cubes moving
It's a
around.
good game, though.
It is. Well, I will not play it now because I had a bad experience.
Uh-oh.
Had a bad experience. So we sit down at this table. I'm the only female, which isn't a problem. I mean, it's just the demographic that I'm used to at gaming conventions.
Yeah.
And so the guy explains, and we all start to take our turn. Everybody else takes their turn. I start to take my turn. He's like, oh, honey, I don't think you want to do that.
Oh,
I said,
no.
yeah, I do want to do this. He's like, you want to go over here? I said, no, I'm going to go here. And then we did a couple, like we finished placing our workers. Each time he questioned how I placed my workers. And I'm like, I understand how this game goes.
Mm-hmm.
So then we did like a preliminary score check in the round. And yes, I was winning. I'm like, see, I think my strategy was okay here. And I thought, I don't want to play this game anymore.
Yeah.
Because I got questioned the whole time.
Sure.
And that's not really necessarily exclusive to females. I think anybody would feel that way.
Yeah.
But the
Agreed.
fact that I was singled out
But
at
you
that
were
time, I thought,
probably the only
why?
one that he was questioning your
Decision making.
selection.
Yeah.
I query the validity.
My mental capacity.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's
But
awful.
it was awful.
Mhm.
It really was. And I thought, oh, this is what people are talking about. Like, I'm sure, like, I happen to have a nice board gaming group that
Right.
I'm involved in. So those people, I all know them, they know me. It's not like I'm going to like an FLGS on my own
bunch
and
of
meeting new
randos,
people and
yeah.
seeing how that vibe is.
Well, and so part of the
Um,
problem, right, is that a lot of these people that behave that way are insulated in their own little bubbles.
Sure.
And so then, yes, a female, usually that's the case, right? A female, and sometimes it's just anybody outside the bubble, but usually it seems like more a
Yeah.
female comes into it, and now it's like it's all ruined, and it's for no reason other than your gender, right? That you walk in and
right.
yeah.
I
And I don't know if some of that's like the gatekeeperness or something.
There's
to
a
it,
lot of
you know?
that crap.
Yeah,
in
there's
our hobby.
some of that, but like
I
kind of
hate
like for the magic thing, I've spent a lot of time in some big magic circles, and like not to throw out terms or whatnot, but I think like the incels kind of thing, like they have a hard time dealing with women in general, and so now all of a sudden there's a woman in their world, and they're like, I'm supposed to have something on my own, and now there's like this girl invading my area, and so that kind of gets their heckles up or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and I would also say that Magic, I will play with friends.
It's hard to play with randos.
I
You
do
never
not
know what
like
kind of personality.
I do
things
not
they're
like
dealing
playing that
with.
game with strangers because
Yeah.
I like to play games and have fun. Now I try to win,
Sure.
but I just like to have a good time, and I joke and we this and that, and you get some people that just take stuff so seriously. You're wasting your time with me. Like neither of us are going to have a good experience out of this. And you look like
Yes,
you're miserable all the time. So
Right.
maybe you just
Go be miserable somewhere else. We're gonna have fun over here.
yeah. So
It's like an ego thing almost. And
Sure.
so like, Bobby, you're saying that's a threat to that ego. And I'm like, I'm just here to play. And so
Yeah.
to come in and try to learn that, it's really hard.
Yeah.
Because yes, I want to play to win. I also want to have fun, but it is fun when you win.
Right.
So I want to be competitive.
Yeah.
But you don't get the chance a lot of times. So just like, here's my deck that I have cultivated and worked on and put $100 in, and then I'm just gonna, wipe the floor with you in these many turns. And next, sorry you can't show that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that is a crappy thing. I mean, we're talking about it in our hobby because it's prevalent there. Obviously,
Right.
it is outside of the hobby as well.
Right.
But I feel like now that people are noticing it and talking about it, I feel like steps are being made. I mean, by no means is anything perfect. Or
Right.
like, oh, now there's like female designers that you could name. Like that doesn't just fix everything.
Right.
But we are moving in the right direction.
Yeah,
Right?
the fact that we're able to have these conversations now, it's like it's a big step because that's one of the first steps to a conflict resolution. Like in things going on,
Right.
you got to be able to talk things out. And be
Acknowledge the
rational.
conflict.
Yeah.
Acknowledge that
Yeah.
there's even a conflict because the guys that live in their little bubble, right? There's
Yeah.
nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
I kind of have the opposite problem. I've lived in a
Yeah.
bubble of ignorance of this because I got into the hobby because of women. My sister and two really good friends of mine who were both women. To me, there's never been women not allowed.
Yeah.
When I went to go play with my friends, the girls were all playing. And when I moved to South Carolina and I found a game group, half of them were actually, most of them were girls. There were only two guys. The rest of them were girls. Now I've come here and, you're mentioning it. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I've only had like 2 women come to my game night. It's not
That's more
because
you than anything.
no, it is. It's because I don't know that many people who live here.
Yeah. That's right,
And
too.
I don't.
Which is why you hang out with us because
Yeah.
you've got nobody else.
I
Yeah.
got no one. So it's very enlightening and eye-opening to see that this is happening in the hobby.
It annoys me like crazy hearing it because it's obviously out there. You always know the problem's
Right.
out there. It's everywhere. It's in every
thing.
part of the world.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
working through it as a whole right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like I have always felt from my experience as someone who does play video games a lot more and board games a lot, I do feel comparatively it is so much better in board games. We are so much more inviting. Video games has that stigma of a girl joins and everyone goes, is that a girl?
Right.
And they still do that, like immature children, and I don't, from my personal experience, see that in board games so much. I've played with many women in random, not like my own group, like random things, and I've never seen that really. And it just annoys me when I do hear about it, because it does obviously exist. But when it's still in the point where it exists enough to randomly hear about it, it annoys me. When you get to the point to where it's still happening, but you're not hearing about it, that it's better. It's obviously still a problem, but it's not spreading. It is these weird focal
more isolated
groups
incidents, not
out
as
there that we need to
widespread.
work on.
The nice thing is that because we kind of all run our own game groups in a way, right? We've all got intersecting circles, right, that overlap. But, when we have these gatherings, like the larger gatherings and the meetups, I like to think, and I actively try to just create an atmosphere where the peer pressure is the other way.
Yeah.
Like, well, if you're going to be a jerk, like, just go.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
we don't need you.
Right.
Like,
We have plenty of people. We don't need jerks.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so if we've got, anybody, like, hey, I'm going to play this game. Anybody that wants to sit down and play it, like, let's play. It doesn't matter. And then it's a priority almost to just have it open. Unless specifically it's like, I brought this game to play with you, Bob. You know what I mean? And we are going to play this. But that's a different
That's a different thing.
I've
thing.
never said.
But we
Things I've never said.
but
I brought this game to lose to you.
Yeah, that sounds more
Unless
accurate.
it's an Imperium.
but we but
Probably
yeah.
close.
I mean, so from our side, we just I feel like we try to create a positive environment anyways, because a lot of times in our hobby, you can get more introverted people. And so you almost have to overcompensate by being that much more welcoming.
Right.
You should,
to
in
get
my
them out of
opinion.
their shell.
Yeah, to just make them comfortable so that they'll sit down and learn and play games, because like, I'm always trying to get more people in the hobby, right? Like, I don't care. Like, hey, you want to play games?
Let's play.
Like, what kind of game do you like?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if I hate
I don't
that
care
game.
your race.
Like,
I don't care your gender. I don't care your sexual orientation. Just let's play some games.
just play some games. Sit down, let's play some games.
As long as
have
you're
a good
losing to
time.
me, I don't mind.
Don't worry, they'll
Yeah.
lose to you.
All right. But to kind of like what Dan was talking about, because I was talking to Sarah about this when we were having lunch, and because she plays more video games than she does board games, and she's felt that in video games. There's like, oh, it's a girl, this, and that. But she feels like in our community for board gaming, she's always felt welcome. She's never felt threatened. She's always,
And a part of that might be the
anonymity.
annoying internet problem that you have there, to where you can be rude over a microphone call, to when you're sitting next to
somebody,
someone,
you're like, oh, hey.
you're like, I guess they're
Yeah.
kind of nice. I won't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know,
So
it
that
doesn't
could
stop
be
some
it.
people.
Sure,
which is
of
true.
course.
But yeah.
But so, gosh.
I think a big problem with it too, not to get off of this specific topic, but I talk about this kind of stuff all the time. I just think that human nature and societal nature is we think in cliques, and we think in those things, and so I don't honestly even look at it as men looking down on women in this specific thing, although that is something that needs addressed, just like every problem. I just look at it as we need to get past this societal thought of, because if one guy walked into a giant convention room that was a convention where the I can't think of the word right now, but the majority of people were females. I don't know what the topic would be right there, right? But so 90% of people that go to this convention is females, and a guy walked in, every female would look at him and think it was weird. Right? It's not because it's a girl walking into a bunch of guys. It's because it's different.
Different.
But that is
and unexpected. And that is the problem, I think, overall.
You're not wrong, but the problem there is. I see what you're saying, and I think you have a point. But I also feel like that there is specifically problems that we have in our hobby where it is guys versus girls.
I agree. I'm just saying
Unfairly.
that I think that when you look at things, it's the classic, do you treat the symptom or the cause? Right? And I think sometimes while people argue, well, don't treat the symptom, treat the cause. That's like a classic doctor argument.
Right.
But sometimes you have to treat the symptom because they're going to die. You know, we treat the symptoms and then we work
find
on
the
the
cause.
underlying cause.
You're right.
You know, like you don't just when someone has cancer or something that's like going on in my life right now.
Here we go.
I'm just saying, you don't say like, well, we just have to get rid of the cancer. It's like, no, there's a lot of other things you got to work on too.
Right.
You know, that goes into that process. So yeah, I do think in this case, working on the symptoms the right thing to do. I'm just saying we need to, as a society, understand the cause too and work on that. You know,
Yeah.
it's just something I talk about all the time. I hate that mentality.
Well, but again, you know, board gaming has a lot of gatekeepers, just like any other
Sure.
hobby. And you know, if you get rid of the gatekeepers, or you just make it so that they're not as
Keeping the gate.
no, just
Right.
make it so that it's not cool to do that, right?
Yeah.
'Cause you're going to peer pressure them
Yeah.
out of the
And-
bad
and I
behavior.
think that's, you know, a good thing for other types of bad behavior too. Like people think like, oh, I'm telling a story about how I was drinking and driving the other day. It's like, you know what? I don't laugh at those stories because
Right.
they're not cool.
Right.
That's not a cool thing to do.
Right.
You know?
You
And if
make
you see
them
this-
the outcast,
Yeah.
instead of letting them treat other people
Right.
as outcasts.
And if you see this, you should definitely call them out on it. Be like,
Oh yeah, sure. Be vocal. You're
no,
saying.
be vocal and make them uncomfortable as you can. I mean,
Yeah, I think that's yes. But because like if I stand up like in that game of Colonists, I don't think Jason was there. Maybe he was, but no one said anything to him
Right.
about the way he treated me playing that game.
Sure.
And I stood up for. I think I got it, and I was trying to be really polite, which is another thing that women like to do. So you want to be polite, which is kind of a societal ingrained thing. So then it never gets resolved. That guy continues to do what he's doing with his behavior,
And he's
because no
probably-
one else has said, "Hey, this isn't
Right.
cool." Like,
And he
that's
probably
enough.
did that to every other woman that came and sat down at that table
Yeah.
for that
Right.
whole
You-
convention.
You know, and I hope when you beat them, you say, you know, you should smile more.
I have definitely seen, like I say, not in board games, but I have literally done in Dungeons and Dragons before, though, while playing it, something like what you're saying, to where, you know, a female friend of mine is making a decision, and a guy across the table says, "You don't want to do that. Like that's gonna hurt the group or something." And like, and I literally said, I was like, I think she can make her own decisions.
Yeah.
You know, like you just be vocal. Basically, you're being as nice as you can, to saying "shut up" to the other person. You know,
Right. Yeah.
who cares if our entire
it's a game.
squad gets wiped right
Yeah.
now because of this decision she's making? The point is she's allowed to make that decision.
Yeah.
it's a game.
That's true.
And you know, who cares? So.
Be an
This guy
ally.
across the table, I don't even think he was trying to do it because he was just doing it because he's a micromanage. The smart
Sure.
move is this. It's almost more
Yeah, alpha gamer.
alpha gamer
I
than
don't-
anything
Right.
else. But still, it's
no
like
one should
just,
play D&D
you know,
to win.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
What's winning in D&D?
Yeah.
I don't know. Ask that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, ask
Right.
Matt. Evidently, he just hands it off to other people when he feels like he's.
I would
won
kind
out.
of like to say in my defense, because Sarah was saying, because one of the things that I do that drives her crazy is I try to point out all of the moves, right? I'm like,
Oh,
well, you
sure.
could do this, you could do this, you could do this. And she's like, well, I just kind of want you to let me make my own decision. And I try to let her make her own decision, but it's not just like,
You're
because it's
just
her.
you're over-informing.
Yes, and I have taught so many games, and so many times you get accused of, well, I didn't know I could do that, and that's why you won. So I try to make sure that everybody knows what all their, and it's not just, you know, a boy-girl thing, it's just a me and
Yeah,
everybody thing. These are all of your options. Choose the one you would like to do, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, so
Sure.
in my
Well,
defense.
and that's the other thing is like as women to not say, "Oh, you are stepping on me," but to say, "Okay, I get it." And also, I've played with women who are like, "Well, I don't know what to do," and I'll say, "Make your own."
Right.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
I will do the opposite.
Stand up for
Make sure
yourself.
Right?
Do
it.
something.
Yeah.
It's a worker placement game. Place a worker.
put
I
it
don't
anywhere,
care where you
doesn't
put him. You can't put him there. I don't care. Put him there.
that- Don't go with it. Fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
So I just have a question because I don't know if it matters to. I know it matters to some people, but you, like, we chat all the time, you know, on like various threads and have a lot of, you know, we talk back and forth and stuff. So if there is a game by a female designer, are you more likely or less likely, or does it matter to you? Because I guess for me, and it's easy for me to say, like, a lot of times when I'm playing games, I don't even pay attention to the designer unless I really like the game, and then I'm like, oh, who
designed
designed
that?
this?
Oh, that's Glenn Drover.
Right? Oh, yeah. You know?
And then start looking into, you know, more into it, and
Right.
not like this isn't like a virtue signaling, like I don't see gender when I play. It's just
Right.
I don't pay
Right.
attention,
Right.
just by my own obliviousness. So is that something, especially now, because I would say that female designers are starting to become a little more come more to the forefront.
Right.
Is that something that you?
Look for specifically?
Yeah.
I don't, but part of that is because my general oblivious to designers.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Just because, but I do sometimes look for themes that have, or games that just include female characters or
Sure.
strong female characters.
Right.
Like I'm looking right now at a Japan anime game, Heart of Crown, which is like all these princesses wanting, or battling to succeed to the throne. Like that's great that it's the female line continuing royalty, or whereas like Istanbul behind me has no female characters at all in it.
Right.
I don't necessarily care, but it is nice to have that in a game.
Sure.
Whereas like I want to support female designers and what they're doing, and I think that that's great. Actually, one of the Kickstarter games, I think Book of Villany, is female designer, female artist, female writers.
Nice.
I think that that's great, but I don't necessarily seek it out because I feel like I want to play a game because it's good.
Because the game.
Yeah, no,
I don't care who did it.
And I'm totally like, I guess that's kind of where I'm at, but it's not like it's just because, like you just said, right? It's like it's just because a lot of times I'm not paying attention to that until afterwards, and I'm like, oh, this art is great. Who drew this? Oh, cool. I'm gonna look up her other stuff or his other stuff.
Something that is a super nice modern trend that we already did our video, I think, right, where our topic was positive trends in gaming. Didn't we already do that?
Probably.
I'm annoyed that we didn't bring this up because probably in my head it's such a minor thing, super easy to do, but a really positive trend is now in games, a lot of things are making things back to back. Where you want to be the soldier, you're male or female.
I was gonna say,
you just flip it over.
There was a game we just played
so
where you had the male version
now.
on one side and the female version on the other, and they same
Everything's the
stats
same, it's just
and everything.
aesthetically what we're doing.
It's just
and
what
that's
artistic
such an easy
representation
thing to add to your game.
And I can't remember what game that
get
was.
Rid of those old games where it says, "Oh, you're the cook, you're female.
Yeah.
Oh, you're the soldier, you're male." Just flip it over and be whatever you want. And that's such a positive trend that developers were like, "Oh, this is a really easy, welcoming thing to do that costs us nothing."
Right.
We get the artist to do 2 versions of the artwork for everything for the player boards, and that is it.
Yeah. I like in Smallworld, which I just played.
That was the first one that popped
in
in
the
my
very
head for some reason.
original core box. There's only one race that's female.
the Valkyries.
The Amazons.
Oh, the Amazons.
That's it. And then someone realized this.
Yeah,
Every
snowball effect, huh?
expansion since then has had at least as many, if not more, females. In fact, the last expansion that I got because I was like, there just aren't enough females in here. Oh, that one's an all-female expansion.
Nice.
And their abilities are awesome.
Yeah.
So I took that one. I like that they actually took the step to rectify the thing that they may not have even realized they had done.
Right.
But that they had eventually realized and fixed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which comes with like diversification usually in your development team. Because
Right.
if you don't have
Yes.
other people's perspectives, you might not see it. And you don't necessarily mean anything negative by it. But if you don't realize it because it's not your perspective, then you're going to miss out on it.
Right.
Right.
Which is why, like, we could not cover this topic without having someone like Katie on.
Yeah.
Be
Because
inappropriate.
it would be really dumb for us to, we think that this is this.
Let me explain.
I'll flood the comments like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah. So much is wrong with
Yeah.
us. So
We
much.
just saved ourselves like 20 YouTube comments.
I don't know. Think of all that traffic.
That's true. So you can just go ahead and log
I
out
can
now.
still comment.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you comment on the right
Isn't that
video,
cute? She's great.
if you comment on the right video, you might earn yourself a game.
Yeah, that's
Hey.
true. That's true.
True.
She doesn't watch our videos though. So.
She doesn't have to watch. She doesn't have to watch it. She just has to subscribe and comment. She
That's
already
right.
knows
That's
what.
true.
She already knows what to do.
I mean,
I know the deal.
She obviously at least listens to them because she makes fun of everything I say in the comments. so
Well,
much is going on.
She's just scanning through until your mouth's open and she stops.
we send the board game mechanics a Dan supercut.
Oh,
It's just-
nice.
It's a 5-minute just edited
efficient.
down
Only
5 minutes.
everything you say. Well, yeah, we cut out a lot of the crap.
Yeah. Or anything that might make you look at least somewhat smart.
Yeah. It's heavily.
You guys are
edited.
the best.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Just like super irate the whole 5 minutes.
yeah,
Yeah.
the whole time. Well, and then it's a lots of ums and ahs, and you
Yeah.
just like picking your nose.
Yeah. Staring off into nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of
But
that.
I think, Spencer, that's a good point that there's small things that we can do to make women feel better. Like talking about that. And I see a lot of guys post on Facebook groups about board games saying, oh, I wish my wife would play, or I can't find, a girl to play with me. And sometimes I want to say, maybe the problem's you.
Right.
Like you teach, I know several guys who teach games poorly. They don't practice that and expect someone coming from the outside just to get it, or they pick games that they're interested in, like, oh yeah, I love this game and there's lots of this fighting and tanks, and she's like, why can't we play that one over there that has like something I'm interested in?
Right.
Just to help just little things, or even, I, especially with men who talk about their wives, I said, well, do you have kids? Like, is someone watching the kids, or is she dividing her time between that and the game and food and, hospitality for other people? Like, there's a lot of mental load that women carry, which is a whole nother like feminist rant I could go on. But I won't.
Yeah.
Jason will get mad. He's like, Katie, I told you not to be a feminazi on there.
Listen, Jason has no sway over this.
He's
You
not
do
here.
whatever you want.
Feminazi.
That's
He doesn't watch
actually
these.
pretty much true in general. Except when it comes to buying games.
That's right.
He is or otherwise we'd be bankrupt.
Right.
But just even those little things, like, okay, if I want my wife to play, maybe I set aside a time where someone else is watching the kids, or I make sure we have food taken care of, or, it's just us and it's a game I know she's interested. She saw it. I feel like that's like the easiest intro for anyone into gaming, and just to extend that to women and help them get in the door. And then I feel like that after that, then it's on us to step up. And even as content creators, as, hosts and different things, to step up and be involved.
Yes.
That's our deal.
Yeah. And you know what, though? Like, all of that stuff, just doing those little things or building good habits are going to help you in every other aspect, right? If you're being more accommodating, you're being more conscious of other people's feelings, right? So if you just start and just try to make a point to think about it, then when you encounter other people of any gender, creed, color, whatever, right? You're already miles ahead of the game.
One of the hardest things to do is to escape your own reality.
Yeah.
Because you always see everything through your own eyes, and to be able to step out of that and see something from somebody else's perspective is huge.
Right. Just take a minute and just think about somebody else for a change.
Yeah, right?
Right. Well, it's not even a selfish thing. Like, it's just a natural thing. You have your own experience.
Yeah.
Right.
And to be like, oh, like, I teach my students the Myers-Briggs personality and say, you think that this other person is crazy because they want to just do stuff in the spur of the moment. They just think differently than you.
Right.
And that happens.
Yeah.
So instead of getting mad, let's think about, oh, that's their perspective. Okay. And you can apply that to anything.
Yep.
It goes a long way.
Everyone's
does.
the main character of their
Of their own story.
They
video
are.
game.
That's
and
right.
They have to
We're all
understand
Truman.
the NPCs.
No, not me.
Yes.
I'm an NPC.
Yeah, okay. Definitely.
Red shirt.
Would you like fries with that? Oh my God, I'm an NPC. Thank you for
But
coming.
yeah, I mean, a lot of these things are just good, like being a good human being.
Yeah.
And just being aware.
Yeah.
And I think acknowledging that there is a difference in the hobby between the male side and the female side, and how do we equalize that without being ridiculous, but also just because there's reasonable action, right? And response and course correction. And I think that it's trending very strongly in a good way. But obviously there's still the old curmudgeons, that don't want to get out. They don't want to change. They don't think there's anything wrong.
Yeah, it's been working fine for me for years. What's the problem?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You're the problem.
Yeah. Oh.
It's really working fine.
Sorry, Bob. This has all been an intervention.
Yeah, that's right.
And so you and I have like a similar situation where our wives will play games with us, but they're kind of selective about the games they will play, right? So even though maybe I don't want to play this game, if she's going to sit down and play, like, I'm in.
Yeah,
like,
I'll
what-
play. Yeah.
But
Okay,
that's
it's not Axes and Allies, but sure, I'll play Orleans.
right. But that's because I want to sit down and I want to like have an experience with her,
yeah.
right, and time with her. And sometimes it's like we'll be over at the in-laws, and the kids need a little bit of attention, and it's like I play this game 100 times.
Yeah.
Like you sit and play, you know how to play.
Yeah.
Like you enjoy yourself.
Teach them, play them. I'll take care of the kids.
I'll play the next game,
Yeah.
and it's not that hard to do. I mean, it's just being, a partner,
Yeah.
for lack of a better. And, just like us, right? We try to accommodate even our own needs, right? In our own groups and our own, game nights and our own social interactions. When we met up with you guys and got to play games, and then you went out to get food for us, and then we played ICP?
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
Katie's like, "Oh, thanks for waiting."
Yeah.
Like,
That was a lot
Okay,
of fun.
I'll win that game later. It's fine.
So for the record,
here we go. Here we
for
go.
the record, I'm not a tattoo person. I don't have any tattoos, but I have witnessed many hatchet mens being applied. And I will neither confirm nor deny the presence of Fago at my wedding.
I want pictorial evidence, everyone.
What about grease paint?
I have glasses, so I've never done the face paint stuff because
okay.
it's just a mess. So,
Okay.
but I have been doused like liberally with Fago in my life. So yes, it's great because you're all the way up front and you're hot, and you're thirsty, and they're just like, "Have a drink," And yeah, it's great. They do
Yeah.
sugar free,
Yeah.
so it's not sticky. It's thoughtful.
It's still warm, probably.
It's still warm, but yeah. It's dude.
That sounds
it's
great.
fine. Yeah. It's a good time. It's a good time.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good. Well, Katie, have you got anything else, or
I
any
don't
points
think
we've
so.
missed?
Like, I mean, I'm open to any questions, but for me, again, I'm not representative of every woman and their
Sure.
experience in gaming by
Sure.
any means. Like, I could just talk about what little that I've seen, and I've been playing, I guess, hobby board games. I was thinking I played Bang in like 2003 or something,
Nice.
like the year after it came out. So
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of this for a long time, and I think that trending is better. I personally even feel more comfortable at cons and stuff as time has gone on and seeing more women around. And I really appreciate the men that I know, including you guys, that play board games that are very welcome and inclusive. So I guess I should end on that.
Oh, look at that! Look
thank
at
you.
that!
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's like, 'cause otherwise,
for Dan.
I'll be mean again.
you
end
got
it
it.
now.
You missed it.
Yeah, of
You
course.
missed it. You got it.
I heard
He's
it.
busy talking.
Do you guys
Yeah,
have any
imagine
other
that.
questions before we
No, I don't
sign
think
off?
so.
Dan,
I don't think so. I'm
Dan,
pretty
you got
proud of
any
our community.
barbs?
I think we are.
I'm
making
good,
strides.
bro.
Yeah, no, I mean not to toot our own horn, but I feel like we have cultivated a very good group and sort of
Yep.
eliminated people that are negative. You know, you know, we try to be very welcoming and very forgiving, but we also try to present like this is what we expect.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
without just having guidelines posted on the door, but
Right.
just by demonstrating good
Yeah.
behavior, right?
I mean, I heard it once. I can never say really that I understand what it's like to be a woman.
right.
I can never say that I will empathize in that role because I've never been in that role and I will never be in that role.
Right.
But I can be an ally.
Yeah, that's important. That's important.
Right.
Now we got to teach Dan how to do that.
Yep. Sorry, I'm an Axis.
Oh boy, you're a A something.
That's fine.
That's for sure.
Okay.
Well, all right, guys. Well, thank you very much. Hopefully that wasn't too heavy, but we had an opportunity to have Katie on,
Yeah.
and I know that she's very passionate about this subject, and we will have her on to talk about like more fun things. Not that wasn't
Okay.
fun,
Right.
but I just thought like what a good way to just kind of get you in and let you kind of let people see your personality and see what an awesome person you are. Dan, hold it in.
Yeah, no, it's not getting old.
But you guys have always been really good to us. Both you and Jason, both. I just over the moon with you guys. I love you guys so much. You've always been really good to me. You've been good to my friends. When you came into town, you were so welcoming. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm just grateful to have you there and happy to count ourselves as allies to not just you, but you know any female that is unfortunate enough to wander within our circle.
Vicinity. Yeah.
You're pretty okay.
Yeah.
You are pretty okay. So all of
guys.
that being said, let's just say be sure to check out the board game mechanics. You'll find Katie
Yeah.
doing unboxings.
That's true.
Jason does a lot of videos, and they do a weekly podcast that is pretty okay.
Yeah.
Their link will be in the description.
Yeah. And then also check out our friends at the Miniatures Rundown. That's CJ and Jeff often, and they cover the miniature side, right? So Jason will never watch that podcast, but they do painting stuff. There's a good chance you're going to see Bob and I and maybe Dan pop up over there every once in a while coming up. We're trying to invade and corrupt the show. But always, guys, don't forget we've got our subscription giveaway. We just got to get to 500. Then once we do that one, we're going to do another giveaway for when we get to 600. So let's just get this one out of the way so that we can move on.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Right on.
I wanna
Yeah,
see
I'm
what's
already
next.
done with this one.
Dan's been over it.
Boy. So, guys, thank you for watching for the Board Game Rundown. I've been Tim.
I've been Bob.
I've been Dan.
I've been Spencer.
And I'm still Katie.
Yay! We'll see you next time.
It's
Google that.
this one.
Oh, it's just my face.
Thanks for checking out the Board Game Rundown. If you like what you saw, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Share our videos on social media and spread the word. We publish new content weekly, including reviews, unboxing, and Let's Plays. And as always, thanks for watching.